Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkick MMA up to 354. I am Brendan. UFC Fight Night Austin. Beneil Dariush taking on Arman Tsarukyan. We are going to break down that fight. We're going to break down all the fights on the main card, round by round. If you're looking for a specific fight breakdown, timestamps are down below. If you like this kind of stuff, if you like this kind of thing, subscribe to the channel. That way you know the next video is coming out. Let's talk about some fights. Boy, this moved fast, huh? Lots of finishes. Lots of finishes, including the main event here. Beneil Dariush taking on Arman Tsarukyan. So, not much to break down here. Dariush was using his kicks really well to keep distance early on. It just didn't last, and he couldn't, it's the thing is, so he was ranked number 4 before this, and Arman Tsarukyan is ranked number 8. I expect they might even switch places. I could see Tsarukyan making it into the top 5 because of this. Huge right knee from Tsarukyan puts Dariush down. He follows up and he's out. Not a lot of strikes landed. 8 for Tsarukyan, only 2 for Dariush. It did not last very long. Only a minute and 4 seconds into the fight. Like I said, not a lot to break down. I don't want to take anything away from Tsarukyan and say a lucky knee. There's nothing. It's not luck, right? He threw it out there to land. It's one of those ones where I wish the fight would have carried on a little bit longer so we can kind of see where Tsarukyan's skills line up with Dariush's over time. I thought he had. I didn't see how Dariush was going to win this fight. I felt like Tsarukyan had enough skills in every facet to get the win here. That being said, I would have liked to see it. I'm a fan for a quick knockout, just like anybody else. There's just not a lot to break down. That's all. That's what I wish there was a little bit more to talk about. Speaking of which, Jalin Turner taking on Bobby Green. Again, not a whole lot to break down here. A little bit more than the main event, that's for sure. Jalin Turner landed 33. Bobby Green landed 15. Green was countering the low. He countered this low kick with a left hand right away, but Turner was just using his range, right? Long kicks. Not even a ton of punches, just a lot of rangy kicks, and he kept Green at distance, and Turner lands a left hand, and then Bobby Green stumbles, and then Turner gets on top and gets a finish. We will talk. Let's, first of all, where do I think Jalin Turner sits? I think his size puts him in like a different category in the lightweight division. I think because he's so tall, it's just not normal to watch, to fight him. He's 6'3", and I know he's lost to Dan Hooker. I know he's lost to other people, and I know he's going to have issues in the top of the division on any given night. The thing is, he's so tall and so awkward. It's just weird to watch and weird to take on. That cannot be a normal instance for people who are in the lightweight division. Fighting people are 6'3" and so lanky. Excellent fight from him. Did exactly what he needed to do on short notice. This great win. Let's talk about the finish and the lack of stoppage. Bobby Green goes face down, and Turner starts unloading some ground and pound. Now, my initial reaction to this, the lack of stoppage, was fine. Not the whole thing, right? So 3 seconds into that, I'm like, okay, he's given Green a chance to fight his way back up, get out of this position. And then Green rotates, and Turner starts to land a few more shots. That's where I kind of got a little uncomfortable. I was like, okay, we've seen people in this situation before being able to work his way out of it, but Green wasn't doing that. He wasn't doing anything. He wasn't showing any not defensive ability. He wasn't showing that he had the wherewithal to even get up and get out of that position. And then he took a ton of damage, and Turner just started laying into him. It's not Turner's fault. There was a fight earlier on the card that probably could have been stopped earlier too, but it didn't. And then the other guy ended up winning. So it's this thing where I don't like a late stoppage. I don't like an early stoppage. There is a window where it's a good stoppage, and this blew past that window. It's just not cool. Bobby Green took so much damage that he didn't need to take. I wish he would have got stopped before he got knocked out again. That's when I wish it would have got stopped. I mean, hindsight's 2020. You can't say like, oh, well, you know he's going to get knocked out. You don't, but you knew he wasn't getting back up. That could have been stopped. Not cool. All right, Rob Font versus Deiveson Figueiredo. Figueiredo hasn't changed much, I guess. It looks like he's going to be a real challenge in this division, right? Over 3 rounds. We'll see how it lasts over 5 rounds, but if you play that game with him, you're gonna lose. And Font played the game way too much. Font took the center of the cage. Figueiredo circling the outside. Get used to that. Figueiredo gets a takedown early, but nothing doing with it. Right back up. Figueiredo gets a takedown again. They get right back up. Font starting to establish a jab as the round carries on. This is what Font needed to do. Just throw the jab out there. Throw it out there. Throw it low. Throw it high. Throw it to the body. Just keep throwing it out there to make Figueiredo stay at range and be punished every time he wanted to come in. He started following up. Font started following up with the 1-2, landing pretty well. Figueiredo landing a hard jab, then a big right hand. Both guys landing well this round, but I lean towards Figueiredo because of the reactions of Font. Font outlanded him 22-10, and Figueiredo just did more damage in those 10 shots. I feel like he landed the bigger shots in the reactions of Font. If Font just ate them and didn't move, didn't look like he got wobbled a little bit, then Figueiredo would have lost this round. But Font's reactions are really what sold me on giving Figueiredo this round 10-9. Second round, Figueiredo right into the double underhook clinch and gets it to the cage, knees him in the nuts. Lots of beneficiaries of fouls on this card. Font's making Figueiredo search for the takedown. He's lowering his level and striking to match, which is pretty cool. So he's making Figueiredo obviously fight for the takedowns, but when he goes to the takedown, Font lowers his level. Right, he lowers the level, he matches Figueiredo's, and he doesn't allow him to get underneath him, which is great. And then he's striking at that range. I thought he looked pretty good when he was doing that. He just wasn't throwing enough out there. His output was not high enough. Figueiredo landing a right hand after a failed takedown. Figueiredo with the takedown, but then right back up again. Figueiredo was running really well in this round, and Font just wasn't able to close off the cage. You know, Figueiredo was able to avoid him. He just circled. He kept circling the outside of the cage, running away. And Font wasn't closing off the cage. He wasn't beating him to the step. He wasn't putting enough out there. And look at the striking numbers here. 15-15, dead even. But Figueiredo had, a little bit of ground control time, a little bit, and he did land big shots. Like that's what I'm saying. When you play this game with Figueiredo where you're going to go low output for low output, you're going to lose. Because he's just going to throw a couple big shots and then run away. And he'll throw a couple big shots and run away, and then he'll go for a takedown. If he gets a takedown, he'll sit on top of you. Like you have to pay attention. Like you got to play the game. You can't play the game that he wants to play, because that's what he's doing. He's just playing, and you can't do that. You're gonna lose. In this last round, Font stopped using his jab. He stopped using his jab in the second round, by the way, and then didn't use it again here in the third. Hard left hand wobbled Font. Font started to land back, and Figo wants to stand and bang as he waves him in. And he does, oh God. This move, I'm not the biggest fan of Figueiredo. I think the fact that he's missed weight as much as he did and then held up the division, and then part of it's not even his fault. Part of it's the UFC's fault for making them fight each other so much. I was not a fan of that. But when you do this kind of thing where he's waving him in, Figueiredo's waving Font in. First of all, if you wave someone in, it's like an unwritten rule. You can't be backing up. It's like you're running away from the guy. Like, oh, come on. Like that's what the fuck. Like that's not how this works, man. It's like trying to distract the T-Rex. You can't do that shit. If you're gonna wave him in, you got to plant your feet, right? But and again, I'm telling you, he's playing games because that's exactly what he did. He did a wave in. He's like, come on, and then immediately shoots for a takedown and then spends the rest of the round on top. Like, how do you not say that he's playing a game in there? He's playing a game. He's playing smart. And the thing is, like, a lot of these other guys want to fight, and he doesn't want to fight. He wants to play games, and he wins because he's playing it better than everybody else. It's a really smart move. Really smart move, avoiding all the damage, staying away from the fighting, and only engaging once in a while to land one big shot and then going away again. Then going for a takedown. It's like an evolution of Derek Lewis's game, right? It's an evolution because, I mean, obviously both him and Derek Lewis have cardio issues, but Derek Lewis, he'll throw one or two big shots, but he won't really go for takedowns. Figueiredo does that too. It's an evolution of that. Back up, run away, run away, run away, run away, throw a big right hand, throw a big shot, clinch up. That's what he did, and it wasn't even close. Wasn't even close. Figueiredo, I'm telling you, if people play that game with him, they're going to lose. Sean Brady versus Kelvin Gastelum. Boy, this was a bummer, huh? I've been calling for Kelvin Gastelum to go back down to 170 for so long. This is unfortunate. And the over-under, they exchange knees. Brady gets him to the fence and gets a takedown. No damage, and then Gastelum works out of it after about a minute. Gastelum trying to lunge in, and Brady using that to get a trip and another takedown. A lot of control time, not a whole lot of damage. 3 minutes and 22 seconds for Sean Brady. Control time, not a ton of strikes in any of the rounds. But that's not Sean Brady's game. He just wants to get you down and submit you. They're both kicking at the legs in the second round, and Brady catches one, gets down. And again, more control time. 4 minutes and 30 seconds of control time. Lots of little shots, but nothing crazy. Not a ton of damage. Just doing enough to, keep that position and keep trying to submit Gastelum. And then the last round, Brady gets a single leg and then gets his Kimura finish. It's just not that exciting watching a guy like Kelvin Gastelum come back down to 170 and then get out wrestled. It just sucks. It sucks. That's not Sean Brady's fight. Sean Brady had an amazing fight. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. I wanted Kelvin Gastelum to get a title shot opportunity. I've wanted him to get it for so long at 170, and he just fucking it's just disappointing. That's all it is. Oh, speaking of disappointment, carry on the sadness here. Clay Guida versus Joaquim Silva, or Joaquim. Joaquim, not Joaquim. Although, Joaquim, he's Brazilian, so I don't know. All right. Guida with the frenetic pressure, looking like he normally does. It's Guida fight as usual. Guida landing some of his hooks, but Silva looking like he's kind of just biding his time, waiting to land that big shot. Clay landing a nice right hook. Silva stumbles a bit. Silva lands an uppercut, making Guida take pause, and then Silva follows that up, landing some really nice shots. None of them were really fight-ending, but he was landing like a decent amount of damage, and that wins a round for him. Silva did enough with those the little output that he had, and he managed to get, even though he landed less, 18-15 in favor of Guida. If Guida didn't take that big shot, I think he wins this round and then in turn wins the fight. And it's just unfortunate that it turned out that way, but it's fighting. Guida with no fear, right back in his face. It gets a single leg lift and dump, falls into a guillotine. Guida takes a knee to the face and lands a huge right hand that backs Silva up. Guida dives across the cage and gets a takedown, fights off another guillotine. He wins this round for me. His pressure and control making the difference. He landed just as much damaging shots. He did get outstruck here, technically 15-14, but I feel like he did just as much damage, and then he had 3 minutes of control time in this round. So it put him over the top. Really comes down to this last round. Silva gets warned about his fingers. He was warned multiple times about keeping his fingers out. Guida he's just short on most of his shots, not really landing a lot here, and Silva just did more in this last round. Guida did a really good job in this fight, but obviously not enough to get it done. 16-11 in striking numbers in this last round, and obviously it should be a 29-28 clean sweep for Silva. And that's exactly what we see. The second round here, everybody gives it to Guida. I'm a huge, I love watching Guida fight, and I wish he got it done, but this is another good scenario. Didn't look bad, didn't get finished, didn't take a lot of damage. Good fight for Guida. All right, Dustin Stoltzfus versus Punahele Soriano. Again, with the fouls. Soriano is willing to stay put and throw down. Stoltzfus landed a nice low kick, but takes a huge right hand in return. Stoltzfus with a low blow. Soriano doing a good job of threatening with the left hand on the exit, making Stoltzfus shell up. So every time that they they get into an exchange, Soriano would throw that big left hand. Sometimes he would land, sometimes he wouldn't, but it would make Stoltzfus shell up and made him a little bit more tentative when he was entering. because he knew when he exit, he was going to take some damage. Stoltzfus is doing a good job with the low kicks for the most part, staying out of range. Stoltzfus landing a really nice right hand, and Soriano with the big left hand. Stoltzfus gets back up with the lift and slam. No control or damage, though. Close round with both guys landing hard, and then right at the end of the round, Stoltzfus lands a big right hand and puts Soriano down. Now, he was already outstriking him. Oh, man. 40-22, but that last big strike, it really stamped that round for Stoltzfus. 10-9. Stoltzfus is doing a good job using his kicks to keep the range. He's landing with the 2-1 and then sometimes the 2-3 because, they're orthodox versus southpaw matchup. And then this back body lock slam takedown for Stoltzfus. He hit it twice. One time right after landing that right hand is beautiful. I love watching that. Soriano is really banking on landing that big left hand, but it just was not landing anymore. And Stoltzfus gets him down again, gets right to the back and going for the nasty neck crank and gets a rear naked choke. Absolutely great finish for Stoltzfus. Just a quick update on the fouls and wins, right? As it stands right now, just a quick tally, right? We've had since late July of this year, we've had 22 low blows, 8 fence grabs, 7 eye pokes, and 1 back of the head, 2 grabs inside the glove, and 2 headbutts. Now, this doesn't include every single foul that's happened. This is just the definitive foul of that fight, right? So if both guys kick each other in the nuts, they cancel out, so those fouls cancel out. And then if someone might have low blow, fence grab, and eye poked in a single fight, but we count, I just count the most definitive one, right? So one that made the most difference. And so far, the win rate of the foulers is 63.4%, right? So it pays to cheat. It is what it is, right? Your best bet is to kick a guy in the nuts. It's a 68% win rate. You kick a guy in the nuts and it increases your chances of winning. So, and that's the thing is like, what are you going to do? Not foul and like go out of your way to be a clean fighter? Why? You just get punished for it. That's it. If you guys didn't watch this card, I would go back and watch it. I know that I don't seem that amped about it. It's just because a couple fighters that I liked ended up losing, so I wasn't that excited about coming back and breaking it down. The fights weren't bad. It was a decent night of fights. Not that it's this time of year where like I'm focused more on family stuff and I'm less focused on things going on with fighting. So it tends to wind down near the end of the year a little bit and like the focus goes elsewhere. So it's not that I didn't think these were good fights. I absolutely think you should go watch them. There was lots of really good action, lots of good fights on this main card. Definitely go check it out. I appreciate y'all for stopping by. Subscribe to the channel. That way you know the next video is coming out. Means a lot to me. Thank you guys. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. Hope you guys, if you don't stop by here again, I hope you guys have a great holidays. Merry Christmas.